Welcome back to another episode of This Week in ZA, the podcast where we dive into the world of software engineering over a slice of pizza. I'm Coded, here with my co-host Chad on the other side, also known as Lovable. You can call me Supabase. Every week we sit down with a guest from the industry to talk culture, projects, and everything in between while eating some great food. Today's guest is Lori McCarthy, a project integrator here at Don't Panic Labs. Today we're eating a variety of slices, at least I am, but mostly the jalapeno popper pizza from Casey's. So stick around to hear some great insights, share a laugh or two, and maybe get a little bit hungry. Let's dig in.
All right, Lori.
Yes, hi.
We always start with the same question. And other than being on this podcast, what is your biggest mistake?
That was my biggest mistake today, Chad.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Maybe your biggest mistake, you just don't realize it yet.
It might be.
Yes.
I'm going to go with a significant regret I have in my past.
Oh,
okay?
that's also good.
It's like way back by now, but it still resonates in my brain every once in a while. And you know what? When I was in high school, I had the chance to go on a study abroad trip to to France. I was taking French at the time, and some folks went, and I was also in the band, the marching band. And so I had a decision. We were going to go play at a bowl game or something. And I felt like I was really needed because I was one of the bass drums.
Oh, sure.
And there was only 4, and you miss one, like it just messes everything up. So I did go on the band trip, had a great time, but unfortunately after that, I sometimes look back and think, oh, I really should have gone to France. I don't know what I was thinking. So yeah, I'll get there sometime.
Beebs did a trip like that.
Yeah?
He went to France because he
Yeah.
stayed in French in high school. All he talks about, though, is the bread was too crusty.
Oh, too crusty for him then.
He's like, my teeth hurt the whole time. That's all I remember.
Oh, poor guy. That's okay. That's okay. So, they did the people who did go, they got to stay a week with a family and then spend a week traveling.
Wow.
So we should organize that for adults. I want to go.
That would
I
be
want to go
cool.
relive the missed high school experience. No, we'll see.
It's interesting.
Yes,
I'm
hi.
completely surprised you kind of valued your necessary contribution to others over
Yeah,
that. So yeah.
it's a tricky decision.
Yeah, it's a tricky decision.
It's okay.
One band, one sound.
See, there you go. Right? I still love marching bands. They're so fun to watch.
All right, you better
Yeah.
try a little bit of the pizza. Codad and I are ahead of you.
I did coat it in this hot honey sauce.
Yes, so did I.
Is it hot?
Yes.
No, but it's quite
terribly.
good. Well, I shouldn't. I kind of
Yeah,
colored
spoilers.
the answers. Yeah.
I don't think I've ever had honey on my pizza.
Really?
No.
I've done it a lot of times. Actually, one of my favorite pizzas of all time was in San Antonio, and they made like this hot honey pepperoni pizza that was honestly a tiny bit spicy, but amazing. Yeah.
The hot honey at Blaze on whatever that pepperoni pizza is
Yeah.
we got before.
That's really good.
Is this jalapeno popper pizza?
It has jalapenos on it.
Okay, what was the one we had
Cheese.
last time from Casey's? It was some kind of Thai chili something on it, wasn't it? Or that was like crab bean pizza? Is that true?
That's good.
You're the keeper of the pizza
Of the
list.
log.
I know. That's true. We haven't recorded the last few.
This is pretty good though. I'm enjoying it.
Yep, so Lori, we make the guest rate first.
Okay.
So
What's the scale?
1 to 10, or 0 to 10, or 0 to 100 if you want to add decimals, up to you.
I'm a non-decimal person.
I like the decimals,
Yeah.
it gives me more range. 0, 1, 2 is kind of this is gross, I don't want to eat anymore. 3, 4, 5 is, yep, it's good, it's pizza, because all pizza is good in the end. 6 and 7s is like, I enjoyed it was really good, I would recommend it. And if you get to the 9s and 10s, that higher score, that's I'm going to keep eating until I hate myself. There's not going to be any leftovers kind of good pizza. That's our typical scale.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to go that high. It's good. It's kind of a thin crust. It's not as moist or thick or whatever. Also, I think that it arrived about an hour ago.
Yeah.
So it doesn't get a fair shake on all fronts, but I would give it probably a 6, maybe a 6.5 because I do really like the honey.
The honey is very good.
I'm also going to give this a pretty good score. Casey's, one of my favorite personal pizzas. I'd give it a 7.
Okay.
You know, it's not quite up to the level of some of their others. I do think they have better pizza. But to be honest, this is kind of like a sleeper. You want to throw it out there and, hey, you get a really good pizza that people aren't going to expect.
Yep.
You order this.
Yeah. I'm also going to give it a pretty good score. It's a little on the sweet side. I feel like the bacon's not doing quite enough lifting for me. Like it's just adding more sweetness to it, so it's a little bit too sweet. But the hot honey is amazing. It has cream cheese on it. I'm pretty sure there's cream cheese
Yeah.
and there's jalapeno, so that's a cheat code. So it's gonna score good with me. I'd give it like a 7.6. I think.
Yeah.
If you swapped out the bacon for pepperoni, I think that's easily getting a high 8 something.
I
hot honey's
agree.
excellent. Pepperoni cream cheese, excellent.
If that was pepperoni, not bacon, we might really be talking.
Yeah, we did that same thing with another pie too. Was it something from Romano's or Ramos?
Yeah.
It had bacon, and we said if that was pepperoni instead, it'd be excellent.
Pepperoni belongs on all pizza, even if you don't think it should. Just throw it on there.
Fair and valid.
Yeah. Pepperoni, cream cheese, and jalapenos. Just start with that, and then see where you go.
True. That should be the podcast. Just evaluating other things that go with those ingredients.
Everything's the same.
That's really good, though.
So, Lori,
Yes, Coded.
word around the shop is you've been doing some fun experiments with AI, specifically in GitHub. I would like to know just a general overview of how you got to the decision of trying to do this stuff.
Well, let's see if I can remember. We have an internal tool that Chad started building, and it's become more and more necessary for things that we do. We're adopting it, and now that we're adopting it, we need it to do certain things that it maybe does not do quite yet.
Sure.
And I kind of know what I want it to do or need it to do, and so I started making tickets in GitHub and adding to the backlog. I don't know how it exactly happened. One day Chad said, I turned on GitHub Copilot for you. I was like, oh, you did? Because I've seen other developers, assigning their things to Copilot. I've watched a couple of lunch and learns where folks are using it to help them go. How did you decide to turn that on?
Ironically, we were originally, a long time ago, and I have you on the podcast, and we were going to have you code live
Oh, yeah.
with Copilot
That's what it was.
on the podcast. And just so you know, everybody out there, we've done a few of those episodes with live coding.
Yep.
Disaster to put together. So that is why we're not actually doing that. And that's actually why there's been maybe a gap in some podcasts, because we've had to retool.
I think I might know why you turned it on. Prior to that, Chad and I would sometimes sit together.
Oh, yes, that's true.
And he would run the IDE and the AI, and I would sort of tell him what I wanted him to tell it.
So he was kind of your intermediate
Yeah, so
prompt
he eliminated
engineer.
the middleman
Okay.
himself.
Yes.
And just let you go crazy on it.
So we turned it on. And when we turned on GitHub Copilot, you also tried to get me up and running in my own IDE. That didn't ever succeed. We ran into some setup issues
Yeah.
or whatever.
VS Code kind of thing?
Yeah, VS Code.
Okay.
I don't remember what was the problem, but
Slide me that, honey.
it turned out we didn't need it in the end, because I was able to create my ticket and assign it to GitHub Copilot, and it would go and do its thing and come back. And which Ethan was it that set up the really good debug
Ethan
test
R.
environment? Yeah.
Yep.
Ethan R set it up so that when it was done, I could have it deploy to this debug environment. I didn't even need my own local dev environment to test on. I didn't need, well, I do need QA, but
Yeah, we
I didn't
did.
need it in order to get that far.
This was the GitHub pages, right?
Yeah.
And does it deploy that as like a staging environment separate from QA?
We don't really have a QA. It is kind of the QA, but it is per PR,
Right.
or per branch, I should say, and they live forever. So I think it's going to be really fun to come back and look at one of these like 3 years from now.
I tried to go to one that was already completed, and I couldn't get to it. It said it took it down because the
Oh,
thing was
we killing them!
completed.
Oh,
So sorry.
I'll fix
We
that.
can change that.
We need to
setting.
fix
I
that.
mean, it
so
would make
doesn't-
sense to put like a timestamp on it so that you could see like an A/B.
Yeah.
Like, we
I would
just
like
changed
to.
that thing. Wait, this is different. What happened? You could go back and be like,
Yeah.
hey, it wasn't doing that last week. That'd be really
definitely.
nifty.
I'm going to get rid of that today. That deleting. I
Go
should-
for it.
Yes, because I really love the idea of being able to look. I've worked on software products, and you want to look. What did this look like 3 years ago? And you never can.
Right.
So that day when you turned it on, we sat together and we assigned it a few tickets, and you were helping me give it really specific instructions, like
Yep.
put it in this file, look
Yeah.
here for this thing, and it was taking a while to chew on the changes, and we inevitably would get bored, and so we'd start up another one. Before
Yes.
you knew it, we had 3 or 4 kind of going at once, right?
Yes.
Because as you said, it takes a while when you just use GitHub Copilot.
Yeah.
It can be kind of slow. But you can do a few at a time, and so we did. And we got a few completed that day.
And we have right now, just so you know, I looked at it like a day or two ago, and I'm actually scared for how many PRs I have to go look at.
Yeah, it's going to
like,
be a problem for you. It's okay.
like I mean,
So
I'm not
you're still
joking.
doing code review for these things.
Yeah, and there are like 10 of them right now, maybe.
Okay.
That Lori has
Reviews
sitting
in a
there.
minute. I've have some thoughts on these code reviews.
Okay.
We'll get there.
Specifically AI-generated code reviews.
We'll get there. Yeah.
Interesting. So what's the typical scope of change that you are trying to use this tool for?
Yeah. So after we did those few, I still have this access. So I would have an idea, or one of my other project integrators would have an idea. I'd create a ticket, and once I had even just a few details in there, I could assign that to Copilot and kind of see what it came up with.
Sure.
I've created a whole new view or page. I've made tweaks to an existing page. Those are the primary areas that we've been using.
You've made a
for.
lot of layout changes, layout changes. Whole new page, which I think was, I'll be honest, when we kind of started this, I was like, thinking Lori's going to be maybe making more layout changes, maybe move a button here, or like the one where you're adding maybe the ability to tweak a few small things on that page. We have whole new pages at this point within there.
The thing is, I have no fear. I'll go try
That's
it.
true.
And see
Yeah,
what it
that
comes
is
up
true.
with.
Yeah, because if
But-
everything, even if it fails terribly,
just start
you
over.
can look at that, acknowledge like what didn't work about there, and either throw out that issue or refactor and tell it to try it again, right?
Yeah.
And then in the end, Chad's the one that has to read all that anyway.
Yeah.
The other thing that I personally find amusing, well, one, I still don't think there's, and I don't know if Lori would agree, if everything works perfect, the whole process is wonderful. When Lori has to go in and now play, I'm going to argue with AI mode, I don't feel the experience. I would be curious on your experience when you have to feel like you have to argue with the AI. It's fun to watch, but I don't think it's necessarily a great interface for that.
Assuming Lori wins most of the arguments.
I mean, perseverance will get you a long way.
Yes.
So will it respond in comments to the issue?
Okay, so when I ask it to make a change to what it's done, the other really cool thing is that I can watch it think, right? It'll tell me, oh, I'm reading your comment, okay, and now I'm gonna go look here. Okay, I found this thing.
It's very
I'm thinking
verbose.
about making changes here. If a person wanted to and had the time to sit there and watch it think, you could learn a lot about how you could do things. And I don't know if it's how you should do things, Chad can speak to that, but it could teach you how you might be able to accomplish things.
Interesting. That's making me curious if that's something we should use for education
I
programs.
do think so. I'll show you what that experience is to follow along with sometime. It's very fascinating.
Yeah, I've laid out like work step by step. This is how you should tackle most problems, and then students will walk through and be like, "Okay, I'm on step 2 and I'm confused about this one thing." But if you had instructions and context around each of those steps, you could watch something. Although I don't know if it would turn into them just throwing all their problems at it.
I don't know.
Yeah, there's a balance.
The
in
other
there,
thing
sure.
is, like, you can't, that I know of, no one's taught me yet, how to stop it once it's going.
Oh, I don't know how to do this.
It's like a runaway train, and it's going to run until it's done. I was asking it to move the location of a button relative to something else the other day, and it was running for like 58 minutes. And I didn't know how to make it stop, so we could just try something different. There might be a way.
Where are you?
Their interface is quite poor.
Is this in like the issue itself that you're seeing the feedback, or?
It's
in
in
a
a
weird
session.
Yeah.
Oh, so
You've
they've
never
got, like,
even
a
been
live
there.
terminal or something.
It's
Okay.
really weird and mediocre.
It's like watching a build in a GitHub Action or something like
Yeah,
that.
it's closer to that. It's
Okay.
actually really close to
Okay.
that. That's a good parallel.
In my mind, the way that I was hearing people describe this, these things were happening through a comment thread on the issue itself. So I'm like, oh, is GitHub really posting like back and forth that much?
And it will.
It posts
The terminal
things
makes
there.
more sense though.
I
'cause
think you can
live.
interact with it as a comment in the issue,
Sure.
or you can interact with it in this session. So,
Is there a planning mode that you can say like, hey, I want to work this out with you, ask me questions?
Great
Can it do all that stuff?
I have not discovered that yet,
Okay.
but it sounds really cool.
That's
I
my
don't-
favorite part of most of the tools so far.
I've
It's
never
just
had
like,
it ask
I
me
need to work through
questions.
this. You have
I've
to
just-
tell it to most of the time.
I've just had it try and do the thing I asked it to.
Right.
Interesting. I should ask it to ask me
Yeah.
questions.
that'd be
Do you have
interesting
any
how that goes.
questions? Yeah.
Yeah. I always say, ask me questions before you proceed, and almost always it gives me a list of them. And then they're usually numbered, and you can respond to them, just one,
Oh,
blah, blah, blah,
good,
two,
yeah.
blah, 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 blah. And then it's like, okay, ask me more. Nope, I don't have any more. Should I go? Yes, go.
That-
Usually it's a bit more
it might work
successful.
I'm curious if that'll work. I'm
I wonder.
betting it won't. I bet it just rolls on forward, but we'll see.
Very cool. The changes you're making,
Mm-hmm.
are they like a cascading set of changes when you're doing these parallel things? Or are they all on different pages?
They
They are all over the place.
They are all over. Like, again, when we started this experiment, I thought it was going to be Lori makes change to, like we talked earlier in this meeting, the Outlook page or something.
Right.
Or makes a page to one thing. When I'm seeing the code change, it is not that, by the way. I mean, the majority of them probably are isolated to a few files, but I've seen, for some reason, mentally, I didn't think it would go as far as making like full back-end, front-end changes all as part of one PR. And I've seen it, and it actually pulled that off. So you're like, wow. I mentally, and maybe it's the way I work. I tend to work, I build the back end what I need, and I move on and I build the front end. This built the whole thing all in one request from Laura, and you're like, oh yeah, it got it.
That's cool.
So definitely can have that wide context, because there's a lot to think through if you're building front end, back end all at once.
Yeah. Speaking of context, did you establish context of what the solution was supposed to do and the rules for engagement, or did you just literally rip it and rip it?
The solution does have GitHub Copilot instruction files, one in the front end and one in the back end.
So
Not one generic.
guidance.
Yeah, there is guidance.
Okay. But not a ton, probably.
Yeah, it's pretty detailed.
Can it pick up a Claude context if you wanted to mix tooling in these things?
I don't know. It does have. I think I've moved it to where it supports that same GitHub thing was relabeled or copied into an agents.md. So it might be able to pick. Claude might pick up from agents.md. I'm not sure. So quite possibly would. I have been a little impressed at times with how wide it is. Like it's doing it all and it's getting it there.
Right.
Probably the thing I see that's weird is sometimes it'll do like the 58-minute example from earlier to move something.
Simple change.
If I asked GitHub or Copilot within VS Code or Cursor or Claude to do that same thing, it would have been like, it would have either succeeded or failed in under 1 minute on my machine. Like 58 minutes, like what is it doing? Is it recreating everything from ground zero? It's like, yeah, let's start over.
Is it doing something where the containerized thing isn't initialized properly and so it hangs because it's waiting for a ready kind of thing? Curious.
It does seem to have a slow start. Once it gets going, it seems okay. But no, it's impressive.
So let's talk about these pull requests. Chad and I have done a couple of them together. That's been interesting. I learned what hashtag important sort of does, or when it's used.
Exclamation point.
Oh, sorry. Exclamation point.
Yeah.
In CSS.
In CSS.
I was told that's what you use when your CSS isn't cooperating and you want to make sure it just uses this.
Any designers listening, we don't do that often, I promise.
Okay, well, Copilot code seems to use that a lot.
Yeah.
So
it does.
That's kind of what you can expect to get there. And
But it's maybe like almost every time, but that's not true.
It's a bit much. My favorite experience sitting and doing the code review with you was when we found it had missed one side of the DTO or something.
Yeah, in general, I'd say it's pretty good at generating code that works. Every once in a while you're like, you kind of have to do that. Is this okay or not?
Right.
But we did find one example where it flat out, we have to do two versions of a DTO mapping, completely left off one half of it. So it wouldn't work. Or I think it was a situation where it would load it correctly, but it would never save or persist it. I don't really remember. So little things like that, it didn't pick up, which I find interesting because it's kind of how that solution's baked. It's all inside the same files. So it literally was making changes in the file that it needed to make. It wasn't like it had to find another file, which I maybe be a little more tolerant of a miss.
I wonder if you have these single instances of the application that are created for each issue, is there a way to wrap the entire app in like a debug mode? And then any issues or feedback that might be generated in the debug mode get surfaced into a pop-up that you can copy and then go give straight back to the issue.
Yeah.
So you can just be like, copy, paste, this didn't work, here's the feedback, and it can figure out on its own what needs to change. Because I've noticed a lot that it will say, hey, this thing totally works now, and you'll go F5, it doesn't, but if I copy the error I got on the network tab and put it back and say, hey, this didn't, oh, you're right, I did miss that.
You're completely
You're
right.
right.
You're completely right.
Then it figures out a lot quicker. So I wonder if there's a way to close that feedback loop for, it missed a thing that should be obvious, it didn't catch it, but if it just saw the error, it would go, oh yeah, you did say that, I see the error now. Fix it, okay, now you're good to go.
And the example we had is actually one you could have wrote an automated test for. It could have caught that with a test. Now I do think catching things like DTO mapping in a test is tough, because you have to make sure you have a test and a cert for everything. So there's I don't know, even if a human was doing it, I think the chance that would have got missed with testing is
Will it
there.
run automated tests and take that feedback and continue to make changes?
I haven't had it submit a PR where the tests were not passing.
The test
So-
has passed, but
So I'm assuming in the context, you say run the tests and make sure.
I
they're
think it's
green
knowing
before-
to run the
does it.
tests.
Okay, it figured them out.
So I'm assuming it has broken them. Now, most of the changes have been in the front end, which don't have as many tests, so that's not as big of an issue, but
Sure.
I'm almost can guarantee it's probably running those and fixing those if it sees it or at least trying.
That's interesting.
But that would have been like we're adding a property to something.
Mhm.
No existing test is going to catch that,
Yeah.
right? So it's kind of you almost need a new test that checks for that. So that's probably why it wouldn't have, and it's,
Right.
but no, it was impressive.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
A $1 million question, Lori.
oh, sure.
You're on a team, a small team, working on a project that's trying to move fast.
Okay.
Would you feel comfortable doing this type of stuff alongside a developer who is working in their own way? So they're doing other changes and you're like, hey, there's a small tweak that's needed. This isn't quite right. Or you were just on a demo and the client said, hey, XYZ, and you said, I can get that. Prompt, make the issue. It gets fixed. Would you do that?
Oh, I wanted to
Yeah?
so bad, but I feared for my future from the folks who would have to review my changes.
Okay.
So there would need to be a handshake agreement. Like Chad's kind of dug his own grave here. He gave me this access. He's responsible for code reviews. Like
It's my own
I'm
mistake.
sorry. I don't want to subject anyone else to that experience unless they're ready for it.
Sure.
Because we've talked many times, and I think you were in the room with me when we discussed it, like the expectation is if a developer is using AI to make code changes, that they're reviewing them
Right.
and that they approve and say they would make these
Yep.
changes.
They're the first reviewer and they
Right.
own the code.
In this case,
You are
you
not
just
doing
don't get that.
Sure.
Right? So it would almost be like, hey, Kodak, can I make a first stab at this change for you? But you are owning it. You would have to take responsibility for like merging and be
Right.
responsible for that change
Right.
as a developer. So, and here's the thing.
Curious.
Even if it's not making code changes, I think it could be really useful as prototyping. Like if I have this crazy idea, I want to make this new view, I don't necessarily need to go to a designer and have them help me make it. If I think I can describe it well enough, I can describe it and let it create it in this debug mode, and it can just sit and live there. And then if you want to take it as a developer and make it correctly or whatever it is,
Sure.
go for it. But
What about the clients doing that?
ooh,
How comfy would you feel with the clients doing a
Ooh,
prototype?
that's a really ooh.
Because
Prototype?
if they're in the GitHub, right, what's stopping them from making an issue saying, hey, I want a new page that does XYZ, make it rough, don't spend too much time formatting, and if they hand that back to the dev team and say, look, it does the thing.
how's that different from a client coming to us with a lovable prototype? Too.
Exactly.
Hey, that's me. I'm lovable.
Yeah.
Prototype. Things I don't know. I don't know if you could turn off the ability for them to like click the buttons that they shouldn't. Is it gonna like merge it in?
Sure.
You can. We could set up rules so only certain people can merge in, so we could still block them out. Actually, that's a.
Just safety net, but
Now, I do think one thing we're maybe glossing over, and we often have people kind of give a little more of their backstory. Lori is not someone that has no technical skills. So I do think we're dealing with someone that can code.
Yeah.
Maybe
could maybe have coded. Go ahead.
No, well, you're selling yourself short.
Okay.
Most certainly could do some code on projects if we absolutely had to. So I do think we're kind of at a different level than someone coming in with no abilities there at all. Now, your point, though, I would be very interested is, let's say we have a designer that does think there needs to be a new page in this.
Sweet.
Maybe they describe it and include a screenshot
Yeah.
and tell it, go add this. Even if it's just, because we have this nice debug mode, even if it's just to kind of show the customer in a meeting, goes, this kind of what you're looking for?
Yep.
That's probably viable. We have a few customers that do have some technical abilities. They probably could write some code. They probably can pull off describing it well enough to get at least that to use it as a way of to communicate.
Yeah. Think of if you had something like you have an application that's up and running,
Yeah.
it's working, it's out in the wild, right? And the client is slightly unhappy with something like the way the navigation
Yeah.
works. Could a
Yes.
designer be like, here's 3 different versions of a working version of your thing. You can get in there and click them. Here's 3
nice.
links.
Yes.
Tell me A, B, or C, which one's the best one. And they could do that with nothing but some prompting and issues.
They probably could.
They could do that instead of like building a thing in Figma.
Yeah. And it would be real so they could feel it. I do think there's something about You can't really feel software, I realize, but
Yeah.
that
You can click them.
you can click through.
I have lots of feelings when looking at software. Last question then from me. Or wait, I think it just ran away from me. Shoot, it was right there.
You're probably thinking about other user types, experience. Do you think Lori would, like all that we're doing here, this is one maybe question I would have. The nice thing about this experience from a Lori perspective is we really didn't have to get everything set up and running on a machine. She doesn't have to use Git.
Very true.
All of those things. But at the same time, I think she's taking on, in some ways, the most pain of the requirements and the hour to wait. Like, I'll be honest, when I come back to something an hour later, it could just be me. I'm already, I was thinking about Ninja Turtles, and then like an hour later, I'm all Power Rangers. I'm just not on that same wavelength at all. And how can I go back from Power Rangers to Ninja Turtles in an instant? It's hard. So I guess I think that problem, in some ways, might be easier if we just had Lori in VS Code and she just type it and got her answer in 60 seconds and pushed it up herself.
60 seconds would be nice, Chad. Can we make it do that?
It would probably, a lot of these that you're asking for, I think it would do it in 60 seconds.
If you did it locally and say push the changes?
Yeah.
Instead of through issues. But then she's got to set up a dev environment.
There's which pain is worse.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember the question.
Oh, yeah.
Good job.
Perfect timing. What's the back end of this thing look like? How effective would it be at deploying different versions of the back end too?
That's a much, much harder problem.
Because I'm assuming the page is just some sort of static site that's being deployed per
Which is very easy.
And they're all pointing to the same back end?
They are all running against an in-memory version in the SPA itself.
Okay, with mock data.
With mock data. It would be wonderful, and I don't have a great solution for it, where the back end could exist, but we don't have to spin up a full new database, or we're not sharing a database.
That could be an interesting thing to solve. Pocket base.
What?
Pocket base.
Pocket base, yeah. There's probably is a way we could pull. Actually, you know what?
Containerized pocket base.
Yeah. Or to be honest, we could have one VM running all of these with a SQLite backend.
True.
Which would be kind of cool. Because then we could. Now, admittedly, we're switching DB technologies, which could create its own issues. But
right. Yeah. That would be a bigger project, something that's not quite as able to move and change as quickly with the heavy back end. I feel like this could stumble a bit.
Yeah, I agree.
For what you're using it for, I think it's perfect. For what it's worth.
Chad, how feasible do you think it would be to pull the changes I'm working on an in-progress issue into a different in-progress issue? Could I do that?
I think when you create one, you are always saying start from main. I think you could say start from one of your other branches.
Okay.
So I think you could.
Okay.
You could branch from branch. It's getting a little crazy. 2 dragons for people that like random movie references.
I get it.
You do, yeah.
One of Will Ferrell's best movies.
Yeah. If you get that reference, please leave a comment on this video.
Cool. I have more questions, but I think that's enough for this episode.
Okay.
We'll have Lori back to ask more.
Maybe.
She might not. I think that was a presumptive.
Yeah. You'll see. All right. Let's go solve some of those PRs, Jed.
I need to solve QA first.
All right, we'll
do that.
If you've got PRs to review, go ahead and leave a comment down below. Like and subscribe if you like the content. Ring that bell if you want to get notifications when we post new content. Tune in next week. We'll probably continue the discussion of some AI tooling, our AI approaches to how we gather solution requirements or tackle problems that we see around the industry. Either way, good luck out there. Tune in next week. We'll see you later.
All right, Lori, can you tell us kind of about what you have kind of your son Owen doing and kind of all the robotics stuff you have going on right now, which is pretty cool.
Where to begin, but we are on year 2 of my son's journey in FIRST Lego robotics. And this is something that I coached before Owen was ever around, junior high team at Park Middle School. Grew up from there. I worked with a first tech challenge team. Those are high schoolers. They made bigger robots. But anyway, I've been kind of biding my time till Owen was old enough. And so last year we started a Lego League team, and we had 5 kids. We've been meeting every Sunday during the school year for a couple of hours, and it uses last year we used Lego EV3, but this year we're moving on to the Spike Prime technology. It's got some new features we're really excited about. But they get a challenge board that's about the size of this table, and there's different elements that are all created out of Legos that this robot needs to interact with, maybe lifting something, carrying something, pushing, pulling, to get points. So that's part of the experience, and then there's also kind of a research and innovation project that they present on. So I had 5 kids between 2nd and 4th grade last year, and I coached the 5 of them to give a presentation. That was a huge milestone. Besides the robot itself, we all learned a lot about that too. Yeah, so it's going really good, and I think there's only like 4 teams in the city of Lincoln that do this, but there's like 90-some teams in Nebraska. The competition is in March at the UNL campus. It's called the Robotics Expansion Event, and it is a blast. Everyone should try to come on that Saturday. I forget which one. You'll have to look it up.
Cool. That sounds right.
Yeah.
How does the platforms you talked about,
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's like Mindstorm kind of thing?
It's Mindstorms, yeah. And so they use a block coding technology, so it's kind of blocky and it's got words and things, and you set the number of rotations, however you need to do it. Our new robot has an internal gyro sensor, and so we're learning how to work with yaw and use that to help control it more precisely.
And the whole thing is like you kind of put your robot in the starting spot and hit go, and then it needs to figure out how to do everything, or is it
True.
controlled?
There are 2, it's not remote controlled.
Okay.
There are 2 starting points. You can start from either one. It can go out and do a thing and come back, and then you can change the program, maybe change the attachments, put on a different arm, whatever it needs to do to go out and run another program. 2.5 minutes for each match. So there's probably, I think there's 16 different challenges you can earn points for. You probably can't do them all, although people have, right?
Sure.
People that are pretty advanced can. But we'll work on trying to optimize for points and speed and time it takes to go do something.
That's really cool. And now, is there another robot in the arena with you at the same time trying to do the same stuff?
Kind of. They run at the competition 4 tables at a time. Each table has 2 halves. They are identical, but that's important because there's always a challenge in the middle of the table where they interact with each other. It's usually a cooperative thing, like if both teams manage to get it across, you get some extra points. Sometimes it's the opposite, where wherever it ends gets points, but not the other side. There's usually an interaction between the 2.
That's really cool. Is the end run for this kind of those collegiate teams that I've seen where they've got big robots that lift stuff like way over their heads and have to put stuff into buckets on other sides of things or throw stuff across the thing?
Collegiate is probably separate, but with the first, I forget what the acronym stands for, with the first environment, they start with young kids, they don't compete, and then we go on to the challenge where we compete. The next one is more of junior high, and they get to use not Legos, so they can like make stuff out of metal, or buy motors or buy whatever they need. And when we did that one year, we used a drawer slide to help us lift something up and down. That was really neat. And usually that'll involve some larger pieces that you're moving around. When I was in high school, we did a similar robotics competition, and it involved, I think it was balloons. And we used, I think it was hanger metal that we bent into a circle, and we had 2 arms, and it would just go grab a balloon and carry it and drop it off. In that one, it is remote controlled.
Okay.
So that's a lot of fun,
Yeah.
right? These kids are like, we wish we could do that. We want a remote control. So that's that one, and then the next level up is like bigger robots. It's like 2 foot by 2 foot by 2 foot size, and they get heavy too, and there's a bigger arena, and so there's kind of those stages. And then who knows what for college? I think it just depends on what college you're in, but
Yeah, that's okay.
it's a blast.
Sounds like
Do the kids yell and scream while the things are running?
Oh, it's very loud.
Okay,
Yes.
that is
You're on the robot?
I can only imagine a
It
bunch
is
of
loud.
4 tables running with 2 sides on each piece, and all these kids yelling for the robot. This is deafening.
The Nebraska competition is held in the Coliseum where Husker volleyball used to play. And so the crowd is sitting up in those bleachers and down on the bleachers down below, and all the tables are out where volleyball would be played.
That's awesome.
We'll have to go.
Yeah.
And then you have 95 teams, each get a table in the field house there, where turf is. And so they've got them all lined up. I think last year DPL had a vendor table. They've got maybe 20 different not vendor, but sponsor table, where the kids can go interact with things while they're waiting for their next match.
Fun.
That's why it's so fun. Okay,
Cool.
good job.
Thank you.
Thank you.